My friend, let me ask you something simple. Why do some people work for 12 hours every single day and still find themselves struggling, while others seem to do less but achieve so much more? You've seen it too. One person rushing everywhere, exhausted and constantly occupied, but their life never really changes. Then there's another who looks calm and focused, not running around, yet everything they touch seems to move forward. Since childhood, we've been told to work hard, to push through, to give more time and more effort. But the truth that most people never see is that hard work by itself does not guarantee success. There are millions of people at this very moment giving their full effort, lifting boxes, cleaning streets, sitting behind desks for long hours, and still struggling to make ends meet. So what creates that invisible line between effort and real achievement? It's not the hours you work that define success. It's the way you use those hours. Imagine someone who spends all day working but without direction. They fill every minute with something to do, always saying they're busy, but rarely pausing to ask if any of it truly matters. Hard work without a sense of purpose is like running fast but facing the wrong way. The faster you go, the further you drift from where you actually want to be. Think carefully about what working hard even means. Is it just staying busy from morning till night? Is it skipping rest and chasing endless tasks? Or is it doing what truly brings you closer to your dreams? Success doesn't come from doing more, it comes from doing what matters most. You can spend the whole day checking off small, low-impact tasks and still be stuck in the same place. But just a few hours of focused, meaningful effort can push you much closer to your goals. Consider two students preparing for an exam. 1. Studies for 8 hours a day, jumping from book to book, reading notes at random, and repeating the same things. The other studies for 3 hours, but spends that time wisely, focusing on what's most important, tackling the hardest subjects first, and using the right materials. When the exam arrives, it's not the number of hours that makes the difference, but how those hours were used. This is the secret that separates progress from exhaustion. You can work endlessly and still not move forward if your energy isn't directed toward the right things. People often mistake activity for progress. They believe being busy means being productive. But busyness can easily become a trap. Movement without direction, noise without results. Successful people understand this distinction deeply. They don't try to do everything. They choose carefully what deserves their time. They know how to say no. They focus on fewer things, but do them well. They are not interested in looking productive. They are focused on being effective. True progress comes when you stop trying to do more and start aiming to do better. You don't need to fill your day with countless actions just to feel accomplished. You need to fill your day with meaning. Every minute you spend on something that doesn't matter is a minute stolen from something that does. It's easy to say yes to every task, every call, every message, but what's hard is choosing where your energy should actually go. Success is built on clarity, not chaos. Think about how often people measure success by how tired they are. They say things like, "I've been working all day," as if exhaustion proves worth. But tiredness isn't the same as achievement. Progress should be measured by how much closer you get to your goals, not by how much energy you've burned along the way. Before starting anything, ask yourself if what you're about to do will actually move you forward or just keep you occupied. If it's only going to keep you busy, it's time to rethink. Every successful person has learned this. Working without direction leads to burnout, not brilliance. When your direction is clear, your results come faster even with less effort. To work smart means to work with purpose. It means understanding that focus is more valuable than hours. It means giving your best energy to the few things that truly count and letting go of what doesn't. Remember that being busy is not a badge of honor. It's easy to fill time. It's difficult to fill it wisely. The goal is not to look hard working. The goal is to become effective. Don't chase motion. Chase meaning. Don't focus on doing everything possible. Focus on doing what's necessary. When you start working right instead of just working hard, success begins to feel lighter. You'll find yourself achieving more without being constantly drained. Working smart isn't about avoiding effort. It's about directing effort where it has the most impact. When you learn to do that, every step you take brings real progress instead of endless exhaustion. Working right changes everything. Instead of running in circles, you start moving in a straight line toward your destination. Instead of trying to fill every hour with work, you fill each hour with intention. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what truly counts. When you align your work with your goals, you start to feel a sense of clarity, calm, and control. You stop chasing approval or trying to look busy. You start focusing on progress that matters. That's when success becomes possible. When effort finally meets direction. In life, not every kind of work brings the same result. Some efforts push you forward while others keep you stuck in place no matter how much time you spend. You could wake up early, stay up late, and work through every single hour of the day, yet if what you are doing doesn't truly matter, you'll still end up exactly where you started. That's why learning to tell the difference between what is valuable and what is just busy work can completely change your life. There are tasks that give you real progress, and there are tasks that only fill your time. The first kind moves you toward success. The second keeps you in motion without direction. Low-value work is the kind that makes you feel active but brings no real reward. It fills your hours but not your future. It's like running on a treadmill. Lots of effort, no destination. Low-value work can take many forms. Checking your phone again and again, replying to every small message, getting caught up in gossip, or constantly jumping between unimportant tasks gives a false sense of accomplishment. It feels urgent, but it adds almost nothing to your long-term goals. High-value work, on the other hand, might not give instant results, but it builds the foundation for everything you truly want. This kind of work includes learning important skills, improving your health, building something that lasts, or developing your mindset. These actions don't give quick rewards, but over time they create lasting growth. When your day is full of low-value work, you end each evening feeling tired yet unfulfilled, like you've climbed a ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. This is one of the biggest reasons so many people stay stuck. They confuse movement with progress. They fill their hours with activity but never actually move forward. Those who achieve real success think differently. They understand that not all tasks deserve equal attention. They know that a few key actions bring the majority of the results. This idea is often explained through the 80-20 principle, which means that 80% of your success usually comes from just 20% of your actions. The secret is to discover what that important 20% is and give it your full attention. If you run a business, answering every email and checking every comment might make you feel responsible, but it doesn't help your business grow. What truly moves you forward is improving your product, reaching the right customers, and learning new ways to serve them better. If you're a student, reading every single page of your textbook may look like hard work, but focusing on the key areas that carry the most weight will bring higher results with far less stress. High-value work often demands more focus and patience. It may be challenging, which is why many people avoid it. They choose the easier, more comfortable tasks that make them feel productive in the moment, but don't bring long-term change. Checking your phone feels satisfying for a few seconds. Scrolling through social media gives a quick reward. But none of these things create the future you want. When you learn to choose high-value work, your entire rhythm changes. You begin to grow faster, not because you are doing more, but because you are doing what matters. Success stops being about time spent and starts being about energy invested. You realize that what truly shapes your future are the meaningful actions that create lasting results. Take a moment to think about your usual day. Ask yourself whether the things you spend time on are moving you closer to your goals or just keeping you busy. The answer to that simple question reveals everything about your progress. If you're stuck in constant activity without satisfaction, you're investing time in the wrong places. Start replacing meaningless motion with intentional action. Give more attention to learning, creating, and building. Focus your time on things that make you stronger and more capable. The goal is not to stay busy all day. It's to make each day count. The number of things you do isn't important. What matters is the number of valuable things you do. When you spend more time on meaningful work, your energy feels lighter and more focused. You begin to feel calm instead of rushed, confident instead of overwhelmed. That's because your mind is no longer pulled in 100 directions. It's focused on what truly moves your life forward. And this doesn't mean you should never rest or relax. Rest is a part of the process, not a break from it. Too many people believe that if they are not constantly working, they are wasting time. They pack every hour of their schedule with something to do, convinced that rest is laziness. But rest isn't laziness, it's wisdom. Stopping doesn't mean giving up. It means you're giving your body and mind time to renew themselves so you can return stronger. Without proper rest, your energy fades, your thoughts become unclear, and your motivation weakens. You start making mistakes, losing focus, and feeling disconnected from your goals. This is why so many people end up exhausted. They keep pushing even when they've reached their limit. But no one can pour from an empty cup. You can't keep producing good results if you don't take time to recharge. Think about professional athletes. They train hard, but they also rest deeply. They don't run every hour of the day. They have recovery days because rest is what rebuilds their strength. The same rule applies to your mind and your work. You can't be sharp if you never stop. When you allow yourself time to breathe, your brain organizes ideas, your emotions balance out, and new inspiration appears naturally. Sometimes, your best ideas come when you're not working at all, when you're walking, relaxing, or simply sitting quietly. That's because a calm mind sees clearly. When you stop chasing constant motion, real creativity starts to grow. Many people ignore this and keep pushing themselves until they burn out, believing that exhaustion is the price of success. But the truth is, success cannot grow from exhaustion. It grows from balance, from the rhythm between action and recovery, effort and reflection. Rest allows your energy to return, your mind to think freely, and your body to perform better. When you rest, you're not quitting. You're preparing. You're gathering strength for the next step. That's what separates people who last from those who fade out too soon. The ones who know how to rest with purpose are the ones who perform best in the long run. Every person has moments in life when nothing seems to make sense. You try hard, you plan carefully, and yet somehow things don't go as expected. You face rejection, delays, confusion, or sudden changes that shake your confidence. These moments often make you question everything. You start wondering if you are on the right path, if your effort even matters, or if you should just stop trying. But this is exactly the stage where most people give up too early, right before the real transformation begins. Every setback, every delay, every closed door has a purpose that often becomes clear only after time passes. Growth does not always look beautiful while it's happening. It can be uncomfortable, uncertain, and lonely. But behind that discomfort is a quiet process of preparation. The pain you feel during your struggle is not a sign that you are failing. It's a sign that you are becoming stronger. When life doesn't go your way, it's easy to think you are falling behind. You see others moving faster, achieving more, and you begin to compare yourself. Comparison steals your peace faster than anything else. It makes you forget how far you've come and blinds you to your own progress. Remember that everyone's journey has a different rhythm. What looks like quick success for someone else might have taken them years of unseen effort. And what looks like a slow path for you might actually be building deeper, stronger foundations that will last much longer. Life is not a race to see who arrives first. It's a journey to see who learns the most, who grows the most, and who becomes the best version of themselves along the way. Sometimes what feels like a delay is actually protection. Life might be keeping you from things you are not yet ready for. It might be giving you time to develop the strength, patience, or wisdom you'll need later. If everything came too easily, you wouldn't build the endurance to handle bigger challenges. The truth is, comfort doesn't create growth, struggle does. Every difficulty holds a hidden lesson, and the faster you learn to find that lesson, the more powerful you become. When you stop fighting the storm and start learning from it, everything begins to change. Challenges turn into teachers. Failure turns into direction, and disappointment becomes fuel for transformation. What separates people who rise from those who give up is not luck or talent, but persistence. Persistence is the ability to keep going even when you don't see immediate results. It's the quiet belief that if you keep moving, even one small step at a time, eventually the path will open. Most people stop because they think progress should always be visible. But the most important growth often happens underground, like the roots of a tree spreading quietly before the branches appear. If you quit too soon, you never get to see the results of all that unseen work. The truth is, consistency will always beat intensity. Doing something small every day builds far more strength than doing something big once in a while and then stopping. Think of your goals like planting seeds. You can't plant them today and expect flowers tomorrow. You water them, you nurture them, and you trust that the process will take time. You don't dig up the soil every morning to check if the roots are growing. You believe they are. That's how faith works. Not in a religious sense, but as an inner trust in your direction. You keep showing up even when there's no visible reward because you know something is happening beneath the surface. You know that one day when the time is right, all your effort will bloom. That quiet kind of belief is what makes ordinary people extraordinary. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful has walked through seasons of doubt. The difference is they didn't let doubt control their steps. They moved through it. They used fear as a signal to keep going, not as a reason to stop. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward despite it. You don't need to feel brave to act. You just need to act. With every step you take, courage grows stronger. You start realizing that fear loses its power when you face it again and again. And eventually, the very thing that once scared you becomes something you can handle with calm and confidence. There will be people who doubt you. Some will question your goals or make fun of your dreams. Others might tell you to be realistic or to stop wasting your time. When you face that kind of negativity, remember that people can only see the world through their own limits. What they call impossible is often just something they haven't seen done yet. Their doubts are a reflection of their own fears, not your potential. You don't need everyone to understand your path. You just need to understand it yourself. The right people will notice your effort when the time comes. But even if no one does, keep going. Because your growth isn't meant to be for show. It's meant to build who you are from the inside out. Sometimes, silence is your best ally. You don't need to announce every step or prove yourself to anyone. Quiet progress is the strongest kind. While others are talking, you're growing. While others are comparing, you're improving. While others are chasing attention, you're building something that lasts. Success that grows quietly often stays strong because it was built with patience, not pride. Learn to love the silence of progress. Learn to be okay with not being noticed right away. The ones who rise slowly, rise steadily. You'll also realize that your biggest competition is not another person. It's the version of you that gave up too easily. The version of you that settled for less. Every day you choose to do better, you defeat that old version a little more. Real victory happens inside long before anyone else sees it. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to keep improving, one choice at a time. Even small progress counts. Every positive habit, every bit of discipline, every act of focus builds the foundation for something greater. There will always be moments when you don't feel motivated. That's normal. Motivation is temporary, but discipline lasts. When you rely only on motivation, you'll keep stopping whenever you don't feel inspired. But when you rely on discipline, you keep moving because you've built the habit of action. Discipline is like a quiet force that carries you forward when your emotions fluctuate. It doesn't depend on how you feel. It depends on what you've decided. The most successful people don't always feel like working. They just work anyway. That's the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. The dreamers wait for the perfect moment. The doers create it. Discipline might feel uncomfortable at first, but it eventually becomes freedom. It gives you control over your life instead of being controlled by your impulses. When you discipline yourself, you gain more energy, more focus, and more confidence. You stop wasting time on distractions because your mind knows where to go. Every small act of discipline is a declaration that you value your future more than your comfort. And that decision, repeated over time, transforms everything. At some point, you will realize that everything you've been chasing, success, respect, peace, happiness, doesn't just come from what you do. It comes from who you become while doing it. Every challenge shapes you. Every mistake teaches you. And every success reminds you that you are capable of more than you once believed. Growth is not a straight line. It's a journey full of turns, pauses, and unexpected lessons. You won't always know where it's leading, but if you stay consistent and honest with yourself, it will always take you somewhere better. The key is to keep walking, even when the path is uncertain. Progress doesn't happen overnight. It's built from small, quiet steps taken every day, especially on the days you don't feel like taking them. There will be days when you wake up and feel empty, tired, or disconnected from your purpose. Those are the days that test your strength the most. Anyone can move forward when they feel inspired. But real strength is found in the moments when you move forward even when you don't. Success is not built on endless motivation. It's built on small actions repeated through boredom, doubt, and fatigue. When you keep showing up despite the discomfort, you prove to yourself that you are not controlled by feelings but guided by purpose. Every time you choose action over excuses, you build a stronger version of yourself. And that version of you becomes unstoppable because it knows how to keep going without needing perfect conditions. You'll learn that time is your greatest teacher. With time, you start to understand that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. You start to see that every mistake adds to your wisdom. You stop fearing rejection because you realize it only redirects you to something better. You stop rushing because you realize that what's meant for you won't pass you by. Time shows you that life is not about doing everything fast. It's about doing things right. Patience is not weakness, it's power under control. When you learn to trust time, you stop comparing your timeline with others. You start focusing on your own rhythm, your own growth, your own lessons. You begin to move with calm confidence instead of restless urgency. As you grow, your priorities change. You stop chasing the things that used to impress others and start chasing the things that bring you peace. You stop seeking validation from people who don't understand your journey. You realize that not everyone will support you, and that's okay. Some people are meant to walk with you only for a short distance. You don't need to force anyone to stay. Let them go with love, and make room for those who truly align with your path. Protect your peace because once you lose it, everything else becomes meaningless. Learn to say no without guilt. Learn to step back when your energy feels low. Learn to listen to your inner voice instead of the noise around you. Peace is not found in a perfect life. It's found in a balanced mind. Another truth you'll discover is that happiness is not a destination you reach someday. It's a state you build within yourself daily. It's not waiting for everything to go right before you feel joy. It's learning to find meaning even when things go wrong. Happiness is not about escaping pain, but about understanding it. It's not about constant excitement, but quiet contentment. When you stop tying your happiness to outcomes, people, or possessions, you finally become free. You realize that gratitude transforms everything. The more you focus on what you already have, the more abundance you begin to feel. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into blessings. It teaches you that even when life isn't perfect, it's still worth living fully. The world will always try to pull your attention in 100 directions. It will tempt you to compare, compete, and chase things that don't truly matter. But the more you grow, the more you understand that peace and fulfillment come from simplicity. You don't need to have everything to be content. You just need clarity about what truly matters. Focus on becoming a person who adds value. To yourself, to others, to the world. Success without purpose feels empty. But even small achievements feel meaningful when they align with something bigger than yourself. Ask yourself not just what you want to achieve, but who you want to become through those achievements. The answer to that question shapes the entire direction of your life. At some stage, you'll look back and realize that all the struggles, delays, and doubts were part of your training. You'll see how every moment that once felt like a setback was actually pushing you toward the right place. Life rarely gives you what you expect, but it always gives you what you need to grow. What you once called failure might later become your greatest blessing. The pain that once broke you might become the reason someone else finds hope. Every experience carries purpose, even the painful ones. Once you understand that, you stop resisting life and start trusting it. You begin to live with patience and purpose, not fear and frustration. That's when you truly grow. You'll also discover that helping others is one of the most powerful ways to help yourself. When you lift others up, you strengthen your own sense of purpose. When you share kindness, it multiplies. Life becomes more meaningful when you focus not just on what you can get, but on what you can give. Sometimes a simple act of support or encouragement can change someone's entire day. You never know how much power your words and actions carry. Be kind, even when it's not returned. Be patient, even when others are not. Be understanding, even when it's difficult. Because what you put into the world always comes back, often in ways you don't expect. And finally, remember that growth never really ends. There will always be new lessons, new challenges, new versions of yourself waiting to be discovered. You will outgrow people, places, habits, and even dreams. That's not a sign of losing direction. It's a sign that you're evolving. Allow yourself to change without guilt. Allow yourself to start over when needed. Life is not meant to be lived in one straight line. It's a constant dance between holding on and letting go, between learning and unlearning, between falling and rising again. You will fall many times, but each time you rise, you'll rise stronger. And with every rise, you'll understand a little more about who you truly are. In the end, it's not about having a perfect life. It's about living a meaningful one. It's about being honest with yourself, staying kind even when the world isn't, and continuing to move forward no matter how heavy the journey feels. The real measure of success is not in what you own, but in who you become. It's in how deeply you love, how patiently you grow, and how bravely you keep going when things get hard. If you can end each day knowing you tried your best, stayed true to your values, and treated others with kindness, then you're already successful, whether the world recognizes it or not. Because true success isn't about applause, it's about peace. It's about waking up with purpose and sleeping with gratitude. That's the kind of life that never stops growing, and that's the kind of life that lasts forever.